Mrs. B. Telegram.
Madam, we regret to inform you that on the morning of the 27th of February 1902, your husband Harold Bruce Morant, more commonly known as the Breaker, having been found guilty on the charges of gross military disobedience, was executed on the orders of the military tribunal. God save the king. Well, Harry was certainly one for adventure. Donald, would you be so kind as to fetch me some more tea? Or, no, perhaps something a little stronger. A little gin, perhaps. You must understand that Harold and I were only really married for that 1 year in Queensland. It was not what you would call a successful marriage. I left him after a year. I neglected to go through the proper protocols of divorce because... That reminds me, here's something Harold would have enjoyed. An Australian foxtrot by that Victorian chappie Henry Tate. Words and music, but not a tweet of birdsong here. A recruiting song for our troops going to the Great War. Ladies and gentlemen, I've invited Miss Lowerser to sing for you a song which I expect you all know very well. It's a little ditty by Miss Georgette Peterson, to words by Miss Anne Rentoul. I need hardly mention the song at all. You may like to sing the choruses, too.
Oh, how I wish that I could be a little Aborigine. The boomerang he learns to throw, and that is all he races Vannies all day long and paddles in a billabong. Black skin won't show the dirty place, and so he doesn't wash his face. I needn't eat his grubs and snakes, but live on lollipops and cakes. He sees the wild corroboree. Oh, how I wish that he was me. Oh, how I wish that I could be a little aborigine.
That was truly lovely. How much fun our kiddies have had playing at being aborigines in the backyard sand pit and all. How very jolly. I wonder how many of us remember that. It's the theme from the ABC Children's Hour on the radio. You know, there were some times when I thought that I couldn't be an Aborigine, I might have been an Argonaut. Throughout my life, I have adhered to the simple but exact dictates of fashion as I left it when Victoria was queen. A neat white blouse, stuffed collar and ribbon tie, dark skirt and coat, and not until I was in meticulous order would I emerge from my tent dressed for the day.
See the little pickaninnies and the lubras too. Gather up their daily bags, for they've work to do. Off they go to find some berries, juicy yams will do. Witty grubs and tasty bodies, and lizards too. Now the long day's work is over, daily bags piled high. Everybody's very happy, hear them shout, Yakai!
In order to prevent the untidiness that goes to mind and soul if neglected, my travelling mirror glass always stands in front of me on the table. Even though I might not have even a native visitor, I have never sat down untidy to any meal. When I felt the stronger urge to be with my own kind, I would dine with Lord and Lady Forster, or Sir Francis and Lady Newdigate, whose photographs I have the honour and pleasure to possess. It does me good, and it helps me to keep my poise and self-respect.
Marawandire, Marawanda, 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 Marawandire, Marawanda, 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 Marawandire, Marawanda.
During all this time in the outback, I supported myself and my black friends with articles I wrote for London newspapers and journals. Funds from the sale of my late husband's station in Broome had been depleted. In order to feed and clothe my Aboriginal friends and to care for their many medical needs, I needed to raise money. With no help from government agencies, I had to take pen to paper and write things that would sell in the London newspapers. Sometimes I exaggerated things, I do admit, but the general context of what I saw and wrote about was true. I did hear there was cannibalism among certain tribal groups, as well as instances of infanticide. But I might not have seen any of this with my own eyes. I had no reason to disbelieve the Aborigines who were telling me these stories. In writing them up, I saw no reason to involve any intermediary, so I simply wrote them in my own voice. Oh, how I wish I could have seen the furore this caused. I paid for it dearly in both the black and white communities. Aboriginal melodies. Those lovely songs were so often bowdlerised by the missionaries and well-meaning musicians who wanted to give their music an Australian flavour. And as for those missionaries...
As the Bishop of God's Holy Church, I can state quite unequivocally, Mrs. Bates was no missionary. She never tried to teach the Aborigines anything or convert them to any faith. She doctored them a little, but was not a female Dr. Schweitzer. She simply wanted to make her home with the tribes and to take part in their customs and ancestral ceremonies. One thing that dominated her life to the exclusion of all else, her passion for the Aborigines.
Thank you for that, Bishop Gibney. As Bishop for the entire state of Western Australia, you were always one of my most stalwart supporters. People didn't realise there was no hope of protecting the Stone Age from the 20th century. When the native's little group is gone, he loses the will to live, and when the will to live is gone, he dies. Yes, there were times when I wondered if and how the white man would ever understand the ways of black fellas. Really, the only way to do it is to go and live with
As
them.
you did for all those years, over 25 in all, from 1919 to 1945, before you were forcibly removed by the police from your camp near Aldea, for the sake of your health, they said. What poppycock.
I was about to say that so many white people are content to sit at home and decorate their lives with Aboriginal motifs and culture. Heavens, I have even seen Albert Namatjira tea towels. I recall having an argument, no, not an argument, just an earnest discussion, with an English gentleman who came to Australia around 1915. That was Dr. Arthur Stedman Lone, who first taught music in outback stations and later became quite an important personage in rural Victoria. In the mid-1930s, Dr. Lone produced a volume of 5 songs, truly and authentically Aboriginal, he claimed.
Transcriptions largely from the memory of Dr. H.O. Lethbridge. One of these is a lullaby from Maranoa in the Riverina district of New South Wales. Now, when Dr. Lethbridge sang it, I wrote it down in the exact rhythm, which was in true 7/8 meter, perfectly natural and really authentic.
In 7/8 meter? With 7 quavers to a bar? This begs the question, surely. Just how much of this music was truly authentic? Might it not be better to say, it's for the Salon Pianoforte?
And now from Radio 3BO, the Bendigo studios of the Australian Broadcasting Commission, we present a performance of a recent pianoforte solo by Dr. Arthur Stedman Lone, based on an authentic Aboriginal melody. According to Dr. Lone,
This piano fantasy seeks to express something of the feelings of one who belongs to a vanishing race and who feels the tragedy of fate.
ladies and gentlemen, to perform Dr. Lone's Maranoa fantasy on an Australian Aboriginal theme, the ABC is proud to present Australia's First Lady of the Keyboard, Miss Eileen Joyce.
even though it would be quite impossible to rock a baby to sleep in its rhythm. I think this next lullaby is much, much lovelier. It's actually a parlour song by a gentleman named Faunthwaite, to words by Bertha Southey Bramble, published in Launceston back in the 1850s, just after that terrible slaughter of the Tasmanian Aborigines and their banishment to Flinders Island. This charming little song is dedicated, with permission, to Her Excellency, the wife of the Governor of Tasmania.
Whose lily coon is your baby? Who is it loves you the best? Who is it holds you so closely, cuddled up warm to a breast? Mammy, Mammy, then Mammy rock you fast to sleep. For the days went by and the stars in the sky, and your Mammy rock you fast to sleep. Rock-a-bye, hush-a-bye, your Mammy rock you fast asleep. Why does you sob in your sleep, babby? Why does you cling to me hand? Mammy'll keep your lily baby safe through the slacks of Slumberland. Babby, then cuddle in the hollow of me arm, for the moon's rising high and the night's been by, and your Mommy keep you safe from harm. Hush-a-bye, rock-a-bye, your Mommy keep you safe from harm.
For some reason, Mr. Thornthwaite's moving lullaby, Mammy's Little Coon, reminds me of the many times I fell asleep during those interminable farewell recitals by Dame Nellie Melba. The very last, I think, was in 1927, the very last. Aside of her usual favourites, things like Home Sweet Home and Comin' Through the Rye, Melba used to sing a bracket of Negro spirituals, even coon songs, by her favourite composer, Teresa del Riego, that British woman who wrote many such things. But nary a blackfella in sight, eh, Nellie?
Just sing 'em up, love.
Moon gleams over Pickaninny's Bay, stars begin to shine. Time for courts to rest ahead. Good night, Pickaninny mine.
answer to that dame. Nellie Melville would always pull a rabbit out of her hat. Thank you so much, Miss Utley. I'm sure you'll get your damehood someday. Every singer scores one these days. Almost every woman, except those who work with Aborigines, even those who have worked so hard to bring the British Empire to the desert. Oh, Donald, my faithful Donald. I remember the day I rescued you from those holy dames at the mission. Did you ever know your birth mother, I wonder? Did she ever sing to you, Donald? Cradled you before you went to that mission? It must have been very painful. I can only but imagine. There was so little travel along those desolate tracks. Sometimes there were no signs to indicate that living things had ever drawn breath in those desolate and treeless places. Even the echoes seemed to be dead. There was a solemnity for some, a weirdness for others in this hushed immensity.
What
was I? Ronald, are you there? I thought I heard a dingo howling. So many things happen out there in the bush. The mornings were spent wandering from camp to camp, attending to the needs of the scattered flock. I knew every bush, every pool, every granite boulder, but I did not know the age-old prehistoric name of this rock, with its legends and dreamtime secrets. There was no loneliness. One lived with the trees, the rocks, the hills and the valleys. The small joys and tiny events of my solitary walks have been more to me than the voices of the multitude. They have taught me more wisdom than is encompassed in the libraries of men. I have been two people. One I rather liked, the other I did not know.